company that I do is CHAMPIAM. I'm a motivational speaker, sales trainer, coach, leadership in the areas of leadership. My passion is basically to help people to understand their purpose, find their purpose, and then finance it. Let their purpose, pay their way through life. I am now in it officially for 4 years. And I started my business before I was an alumni. I started my business at the same time as joining LAIDA, so I have a personal attachment to LAIDA because I was sharing, what's your name, Betty? I was sharing with Betty about how you don't know what you don't know until you get into that area, and LAIDA had take those business classes. It shows you as a small business that you can't afford to be ignorant and that you need to really learn. And a lot of people make some serious mistakes just jumping out there and doing their business and not taking the time to learn things like a business plan or marketing or social media, how to be responsible. I was sharing one of the best classes that were in the LAIDA classes was the one that talked about banking. And I didn't learn anything about the banking portion as much as I thought I would, but the key message that, what's his name, I don't know his name wrong, but
Josue?
Yeah, and he was talking about how your credit is your character. And that really, really hit me because my credit, it was jacked up. And here you are as a business person, you're saying, I want to do my credit. I want the bank to give me some money. And we're doing a business plan and learning the business plan, and then I'll find out, they say, well, someone gave me the misinformation that when you start a business and you get your LLC, you get a clean wipe on your credit. And that's a lie. Who are they looking at? They're looking at the person that started the business. So they're going to look at your character. So when you find out that there's some changes you need to make, like learning to live off of a budget, you learn those things. So you don't make as costly mistakes with the information that you get. So if any of you have not taken the LAIDA small business course, I would definitely recommend you to do it. It will add to you, and I think I'm here 4 years later, and still one of the businesses that I stay attached to LAIDA. 4 years later, you're going to see everybody still kicking. You have some people that dreamt it and washed away, and some people that I Say Yes, which is one of my examples of networking. I Say Yes Salon, that's still here and still kicking, and the dream is still going. And I think it's because of those relationships we formed and the information, and we had an awesome teacher, Jamelia Powell. Yeah. So, one of my passions is talking about networking. I have over 20 years of sales experience. My first job was knocking doors, doing Kirby vacuum cleaners, holding that $1,300 vacuum cleaner around, knocking on people's doors. You bought one too? You didn't buy it from me. You got one too? Yeah, all right. Kirby's still kicking. 20 years later, haven't changed their model one bit. Going into people's houses. But I loved selling from that point on. I didn't necessarily like to do that form, but I learned a lot from it. And a lot of things I learned back then developed who I am today. So now, to the present, I'm still in sales. I do life insurance, and I also do my business at the same time. So that leads me to talking about what we're talking about today. Is taking the curse word, that's not a curse word, but taking the blah, 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 out of the network. And it's not really a curse word, but once you understand, I like acronyms and I like symbols. So like when I do things, I do a lot of acronyms when I talk. So it helps me to remember and helps you to remember too. So what we're going to do is today, we're going to take the question. Okay? We're going to take the question. We're going to take the anxiety. We're going to take the mystery. And then we're going to take the frustration. Out of networking.
UAMF, what kind of word is that?
That's not an acronym. That's what this means. Question. Anxiety.
Gotcha.
Mystery.
I just can't pronounce it, that's all.
Frustration. I spelled it for you, Miss. And I think that a lot of us, when it comes to networking, we think of it with us like we look at it like sales. We have that apprehension when it comes to networking. So I'm going to take that, and we're going to deal with that today. And that's my goal, is to take these things, these elements out, so that you can know what to do. And Tracy, this wonderful quote that I learned from this awesome person that I was talking to, and I heard this wonderful quote, and the lady said, "When I know what to do, then I will do it." And she don't live the wisdom that she said in that statement.
I know what to do.
You see? And that's true. She said, "I don't know what to do." She said, but when I know what to do, then I'll do it. And that was a powerful statement that I don't plagiarize. So I made a quote, and I had to give her credit to that, because that's what we should be like. And that's why we're always learning. That's why even today, even though I've been in this sales and I've been doing this for a while, I'm always taking time to learn, because I don't know it all. And I don't. And I'm going to learn some things from you tonight, just while I was talking. So the ground rules today is that you're not allowed to be quiet. You're not allowed to sit back and listen to me like Ben Stein and says, we are going to talk about networking. No, that's not the type of session that we're having today. The type of session that we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking with each other, we're going to be learning from each other, and we're going to be learning how we can grow together, okay? All right, that's my only ground rule, okay? So, here's what I learned. I told you how long have I been in business for? 4 years. So I'm not no superstar. I'm not the whoever's at the top of the market. But I believe I have something to share. One of the things that I learned that was very hard when starting my business was getting to the point where, you know how you start your business and you say, I got this bright idea and I'm going to do it. And then who's the very first people that you go to talk to? They said family members. And right now, you're like, my family members. And your family members either do two things. They be like your mama, and your son probably sold you the Kirby vacuum cleaner. Because the very first person that bought my Kirby vacuum cleaner was a lady named Sandra Marie Hampton. That was my mama. Okay? So I got in business for myself. I said, I'm in business for myself. I'm certainly selling these vacuum cleaners. And she bought that thing at full price before I learned that you can go down on that thing. So she supported me.
Yeah.
But that was when I was 19. Okay? I'm 43 now. Okay? Do you know how many business evolutions I have been through since 19?
What?
How many have been through different multi-level marketing things that's going on? I am okay with network marketing. You gotta find your niche. But while you're finding your niche, they're all saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Listen, the very first meeting that you have, they gather you in the room, and what the first thing they said, get a list of 50 people.
Yeah.
You only know 25.
Yeah.
And they said, get a list of 50 people, and those are the people you're going to sell to. Now, I'm in my second or third evolution of my business plan and of my business idea. I haven't found my niche yet. I haven't found where I fit into the pie yet.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here like, all right, I've done gone through the same 25 people. And now I'm at the point where I finally come to the evolution of where I am. I said, I am going to be CHAMPIAM. I'm going to live my passion. I'm going to be this motivational speaker that's going to crack the world open. You're going to see me on TV. You're going to see me out there empowering the world. Forget Tony Robbins, they're going to know Chris Hampton. Right? And then the very first people I talk to are friends and family. After a while, the friends who knew you so much become too familiar.
Yeah.
And then you realize that you started this business and you feel like you're in your own backyard. And that's how small your backyard is. Because when you look at your backyard compared to people that have been kicking it and doing it, your backyard seems very small. And that's where I realized how hard it was for me to get out of that. Because I was saying, this is what I really want to do now. But I had to learn how to break out of my backyard, and I didn't realize how simple it was. It was through networking. Let me show you how I did. I have my notes, so I'm just going to go naturally. I'm going to show you how I did. I was standing on a corner at the Walter Rand bus station, going to my night job, doing my normal thing. I was a psych aide at a hospital. One of my friends, who I went to high school with, came up to me and said, he saw me at the bus stop. He said, "Hey, Ham, what you doing?" I said, "I'm doing good." He said, "You still preaching?" I said, "Yeah, I'm still in ministry. I ain't preaching like full time, like I'm just doing my thing. I sing praise and worship, doing. He said, "Well, I'm doing a movie, and you think you can be the preacher in the movie?"
I like that.
And I said, "Sure." Never did a wedding before. Sure. Can't be that hard. In my heart at the bus stop, I always had the vision of being the motivational speaker. Okay? In my mind, I was wondering how I was going to be that motivational speaker. Didn't know. Through that relationship at the bus stop, I ended up thinking that I didn't know how they make movies. First of all. I didn't know how they make movies. So I'm coming at the end. I'm thinking that the movie is all done. And I do the wedding ceremony. And then I sat down and I said, "God, these couples need a counselor." This movie, he said, yeah, we need to do that. So I ended up doing the wedding thing. And then I promised you that all would come together. Okay, they're doing the wedding thing. And then he puts me into the scene to do a counseling session for the couple. And he adds me into the movie. And then slowly I end up becoming from a one-part role to then my voice, because I put so much information, because I've been through marriage counseling so long, that I have so much experience, okay, that he ended up making me the narrator. And the stuff that I was saying ended up narrating from the beginning of the movie to the end. So he's like, "What's it have to do with networking?" Okay, well, we're at the movie premiere. And one of the actors has a network where he had this guy who was doing this magazine at the time. And he said, he met me, and I was talking about my vision. And we ended up talking about my vision about, hey, he said, "You're doing this, I'm traveling." He said, "My heart's to be a motivational speaker." And as I started to empower him at the movie opening, he said, "You need to do that. You need to get your cards, and you need to do it." Nobody ever spoke into myself. And I was like, oh my, wow. When I tell the story, wow. No one spoke into my, but something he said that night ignited me to do that step. If I didn't have the relational mindset of networking and to be where I need to be and be open-minded about where I was, I would have never had that conversation, which opened the door from that. I'm showing you networking naturally, right?
Yes.
So now, from that point, a day later, I get my idea, my card, and I say CHAMPIAM. I don't know how CHAMPIAM came into the conversation, but all of a sudden I got to download CHAMPIAM. Why? Because my name starts with C, and my last name is Hampton, so I'll just cut the T-O-N off, and I'll say, Champ, because everybody used to call me Hamp. So why won't they call me Hamp? And I'll say, stop calling me Hamp and call me Champ. And I said, you know what? Because I have my self-esteem problem, because a lot of times what happens is your business evolves from your pain. Because sometimes your pain is there to help someone else. The reason your business might not be the pain healer, but your motive for doing the business will be able to motivate you for doing it. You're like, I like to help people, like you're saying. I like to help people that are on drugs. Then all of a sudden you find yourself, we see Betty 3 years later standing in the front talking to how people can be lifted out of their situation and you don't have to go back again. Right? So that's how it happens, your passion. So, I'm not off key. So, I do what the guy says, and I come up there and I got my card. The guy says, I'm going to introduce you. We started to do a fashion magazine out of that. That's where we have the Everyday Girl fashion magazine. So the guy that was doing the movie ended up saying, I want to help models out, and we started this whole entire fashion thing. And I was the guy teaching the sales part, teaching them how to market their business, and to teach models how to use their business as to look at their modeling as an individual business, because that's what they are. Okay. Now, all that happened out of what? Me building what?
Relationship.
And was it hard, or was it just me just being
You,
aware?
I think you were being you,
Right.
and that you took the opportunity when it presented itself, and each door opened because you said yes to the door.
That's what it is. Now, what's funny about it is that the door opened up for me to be the motivational speaker. Guess who my first motivational speech happened to be to? It happened to be models.
To what?
Models.
Oh, model.
Here I am in the financial district. My job is selling insurance. And I was doing my night job as a site aide. And I'm thinking that, hey, I should be speaking in front of Fortune 500 companies. But where did my open door come from? It came from that relationship. And my very first people that I ended up talking to was models. And my very first message is a message that I developed for the models called Know Your Worth. And I was talking about the story of Cinderella. And I told the learning lessons about Cinderella. And I ended up breaking Cinderella down from the 5 people that were in her life that were speaking over her.
I
talked about the grandmother, wicked mother, the fairy godmother, the prince, and then going all the way down to, and talking about the leadership. Now, I developed my first message that turned into a leadership message. I've taken that message into school systems. I've taken that message into the college system. But where did it come from? It came from that working, it came from that opportunity of networking from the model, that door opened up from the modeling. I had no clue that door was going to open up so natural that it opened up all those doors. To the point that we were at a fashion, we were in the basement, right? In the basement. And we were in this basement and we were doing these photo shoots, right? And they were doing these photo shoots and we were down there and I went upstairs and I saw these salon people called I Say Yes.
That's when we first met you.
And that's where I met Miss Bryant. Do you see how we just made a relation and I just brought it right back to this room? That if I never had the dream and I was never able to vocalize the dream, I would have never been able to see the opportunity that came. And it didn't come from me having to shove my card in somebody's face to recognize who I am. So, that first point that I'm talking about, I'm like, no way.
That was so powerful. Can I stand up? That was the Lord behind everything I heard.
But that's how real networking can be. Okay?
Well, you just changed my whole version of what networking was.
And what did you
I
get?
thought it was the shoving the card in front of somebody's face, and that's just not it.
No, and that's not it. And like I said, what is the key that I just showed you? If I was to say, what's the main idea? I just gave you the definition of networking without giving you a textbook definition of networking. But if I told you, what is the definition of networking, what did you get? What could you give me out of that? Let's get a working definition for what you just said. What are some of the main ideas that you pulled out of that? What's the key to networking?
You shared your passion with someone.
Okay.
With that first person, what are you doing?
So you're sharing.
Yeah, you were sharing your passion about what you were doing.
Okay.
With
Or-
that man who asked you what you were doing.
So we were sharing your why. Okay. Everybody has an index card? Rip index cards? Everybody's giving an index card? Do me a favor. Write your name on the index card. Name of your business. The name of you or your business. If you don't have a business, I want you to make up the name of your business. If it's based off of your passion, write the name of your passion down and put your business. Don't write where you are now. Okay? Don't write, I'm an insurance salesman if that's not your passion or what you see yourself doing. But I want you to write your name, and I want to write your, which you see, I want your name, and don't describe it, but the name and the why, because the name of your business is the why. CHAMPIAM is my why. CHAMPIAM has become my identity. I'm walking down the street and I hear CHAMPIAM. Walk down the city, CHAMPIAM, okay? I respond to Chris Hampton and CHAMPIAM, okay? So write that down, and then put the card on.
I lost the card.
Okay, we have another card. So the secret to getting out of your backyard is networking, and networking is what? Networking is, we said, sharing your why. What else did we get from that story?
Making connections that build into trust.
You said making what?
Connections.
Queen said making connections.
You said trust.
Yeah, trust.
Connections. Where was I building trust?
When you connect with somebody, when you're speaking with them and you show them that you can help them, that kind of builds trust for them to call you back
Okay,
and
that's
speak
good.
with them.
Did I do that in the relationships? Was I doing that? I was? Okay.
Relationship.
On create. There we go. That's the word I want to hear. Creating. You said relationships. Relationships. So nowhere in there did I say, here's my card. Will you hire me? I'm worth it. I'm worth your time. You know, all those different things. You know, now I'll say that later. So, the key word I want to get out of here, I think, is all of these. You're making, I like that. You're sharing your why. Well, really, you're sharing who you are.
Identity, right.
You're sharing who you are. You're sharing your why. With the intention of making connections, building trust, and creating relationships. Y'all make me look smarter than I am. There you go.
That is beautiful. I never seen
That's a
it
great
worded.
definition.
That is, am I the only one that's this excited? Because I never knew what networking was.
But
and
this
I
is
was
networking.
off to what I thought
Now,
it
if you
was.
go to a college course, it's amazing because I saw the textbook. I was looking at the textbook definition, and the textbook. I'm gonna give you a textbook definition.
Please, because I'm sure it's the one I don't like. That's why I never do it.
I love this class. I love this class. Where is it?
I just don't want to be that person.
It's true, it's true.
Where's my
Such
internet?
a great point.
Okay, so.
You want me to look it up?
No, I got it. There was a definition that I liked. That's all. I didn't use your
Textbook,
definition.
like
I saw this
textbook.
off of
Textbook definition.
the balance. So here's the networking definition that they're working with. Business networking. That's actually business.
Yes, business.
Excuse me. Business networking is the process of establishing a mutual beneficial relationship with the other people, other business people, and potential clients or customers.
That's the part I don't like. It's like you want something.
Okay.
Right away. You always want something. That's
And
why
here's,
I'm doing it.
and here's the answer that they put. This is how they ended. This is how they ended. With the primary purpose of business networking is to tell other people about your business and hopefully turn them into customers.
There you go. That's what I'm
Okay.
doing.
Now, we basically kind of like said the same thing,
Right.
but we're emphasizing two different points. What did I emphasize more on?
What came from your heart. Like, this is what I have to offer.
And we're building.
Relationship.
Okay, so when I turn you into a customer, what do you feel like now happens? It turns into a I'm selling, you're buying,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And that's not what you want to do because
Transactional.
And like if you go to a networking event with
Mhm.
wanting profits, like you'll collect a lot of cards. But when you go home, you want to build up relationships and you know what I mean? You look at your cards and like, I'm not going to contact this person because I might not make money. So you might throw an opportunity away and you don't know.
That's true.
yo, my teacher in class, I'm excited. You see, now, you just gave me the flashback. I didn't know how I was going to put it in here. But you gave me the flashback of when the guys were, when we were young and we would go to skate the rink And I was a wallflower, so this wasn't me. I was the nerd, so I couldn't do this because I couldn't. It's weird. I could network like crazy, but I couldn't get a girl's phone number to save my life. But remember back in the day, there was, you guys would come up there and say, I'm going to get who got the most numbers at the end of the day. But that was networking from the shark point of view, training from birth. That was that I'm going to get what I'm going to get, and I'm going to get these numbers, and I'm going to get these digits even if I don't call them. Okay? I was never good at that. So I'm the wallflower. I'm like, I can't do this because I'm committed. Nah. I can't do it. I'm a one-woman man. Nah, I can't do it. Why? Because it was the motive behind it.
Right.
Was not a motive of building relationship.
Right.
It's not like a little call 100 of them women up and say, hey, will you go out to date with me on Friday? That's expensive. One, we didn't have the money to support all the numbers. Right? So, but that's how we teach you at a young age how to be sharks in the water. Right? So now we're talking about when I was coming from, would you rather be that way or would you rather be the one that's saying, hey, this is a relationship? Now, when we define relationships work two ways. Where a customer mindset is more of a what's in it for me. Okay? And that's the very first thing that you have to get rid of is a whip-em mentality. Okay? Now, we talked about what the networking is. And I think now I'm going to shift and take a pause. And I'm going to talk about why we don't do it.
Why we don't do this?
Why we don't even do this.
We don't even have.
Right? Because we don't know how. Because we don't know how. And some of us, it's uncomfortable to be in relationships. Because a relationship requires you to be open, honest, and to share, to build trust with somebody, right? And a relationship is what? Two ways. So if I'm transactional, it's a one-time only thing. When I become relational, it becomes a thing that I would reuse that connection over and over again. Am I transactional or am I relational? And somebody can tell you, if I'm transactional, I'm looking at you as a customer. It's great because ever since I've met Miss Barbara, we have been relational, never transactional. She was my first coaching client. She heard me speak and that's the great thing. I ended up going through like, and I'm going to tell you about that because Jamila gets mad at me when I say that, how I get to that. But when we go through the end, I said, okay, I finally got to Reject Laida, and I got there, and I ended up being a motivational speaker, and we were relational. The guy that interviewed me, we were transactional. But
I like that, because that's a good way of thinking of things.
Well, yeah, well, it is, because okay, because it all is part of the lesson. Okay, it is part of the lesson. So, in my journey, it's amazing how this is not planned. But in my journey, I said I need some help. So one of the people at my church, Laida came to my church and taught the marketing one. Ray came and taught the one-on-one. Okay, they're talking about connections. So I met Ray and didn't know who Ray was, but I was part of a business networking group for the church. So Ray came and he spoke, and I don't even think he remembers seeing me there. So I found out who Laida was. And then one of the business membership went through there, and they were already an alumni. So I said, okay, I want to go to Laida. I said, I need to know what's going on, because I don't know it all. And I got a dream, but I got no information.
Right.
So you still need some information to support your dream,
Yes,
right? So now I do this, I go there, and I'm like, I'm going to do this thing. And I find out you have to apply. You feel me here, because she had to apply. She was like, okay. So I go through the application. She ain't taking it. You got to apply. No, I'm talking about this Betty right here. This is Betty?
No, I'm
Okay, she's in it. We want her in it. Okay, I'm putting the reference. She should be in the class, all right? Y'all too, she should be in the class. You got to hook up, all right? She got a dream. So I go there, I said, I got a dream. I got a dream. Dude was coming up there, he said, who are you? I'm CHAMPIAM, you don't know. He said, said, what champ I am? I'm a motivational speaker. What's that? He didn't know what I was. He didn't recognize. So I said, this is what I do. And I put my professional voice on. I said, this is what I aspire to be. My name is Chris Hampton. I'm CHAMPIAM. And my why is I'm a motivational speaker and I impact the lives to help people to live their vision and go. And he said, okay. So I tell him I want to live my vision. I want to empower people. I want to encourage people to finance their vision and have their vision finance them and go boom. All right? Okay, what I just did was my elevator speech. It's a little choppy, but I'm going to work on it. Okay? So, but I said, hey. And he was like, well, I don't kind of understand that. He said, well, how does that equivalent? What's the equivalence to dollars? I said, I plan on being one of the motivational speakers when I'm going to hit $1,200 per speech. That's my goal. Everybody else is doing $5,000, but I want to do $1,200 to get through. He says, well, okay. He says, call me back when you get your $1,200. I was like, for real? He said, call me back when you get your first beauty. And I was in negotiation with one already. So I was trying to work it out. And I was still doing it. I was kind of upset. Because I was like, I told you I was aspiring to be. I didn't tell you I was there yet. I'm saying I'm coming to like, you know what's going in my head? I'm coming to my head for you to show me how to get there. And he's like, when you get there, come and see me. So he gets fired or gets kicked out. I don't know what happened. He was no longer there, and I get a phone call from Demystifies. And I'm still like, hey, how you doing? Champ, what's going on? I was like, hey, you know me? Yeah. No, you don't know me. But she goes and said, what's going on? Well, the dude told me that I had to get $1,200. I'm working on that. I'm in the middle of trying to get this down. Hey, I just got booked for my first conference, though, and I think there might be somewhere up there. And some guy was saying, trying to bring me out to Arizona to do something. And I didn't ask him. He was like, this was also done because he saw me on LinkedIn. Wow, it's all tied together. I'm like, wow. Okay. But he saw me on LinkedIn. He saw me on LinkedIn, and he saw that I was speaking, and I was doing those different things, and I was doing small things going up there, and he reached out to me to show me how I can get my book in, how to get my book nationwide when I write it. And he was asking me to possibly be on the radio show and have my own radio show, which I didn't think I was ready for yet, but I might be in the start to do that soon. But he was like, but I'm doing a conference right now, and we want to bring you out there to Arizona. And he says, what's your fee? I said, $1,200. And we were in the contract. We were in the contract for the $1,200. And then she called me back, and I was like, what's going on? I said, Shamil, guess what? I got the $1,200. I'm good. I got the $1,200. Now, she didn't know that the conference fell through, but I still got into the class. I got into the class. And I was like, I had to fight my way into the class. But it was me building that relationship over the phone with her. And me talking back and forth with her. That's how it happened, right? And then we turned finally into a yes. Then I get to the class and find out that nobody else had to fight as hard as I had. They had to fight in there. That's why I'm chair. I had to live up to my name. Had to live up to my name, right? But that's the story. It's amazing because I'm not planning any of this. It's all coming together. But I promise you, I'm still in my notes somewhere. But what happened was I ended up being at Lahaina. Relationship. When I really look, it's like you don't really think about it until you start to look back at it and think about it. Yeah. Because after I did Lahaina, I had a desire to start to serve in my community. And I'm getting to the points, and I think I'm building the points in here about being able to build a reputation of networking, a reputation that builds on making connections, not about what I can always do for you, but what we can do for each other. Because now I've done the modeling. I've now done my first. Out of that modeling, I did my first fashion show, and here I didn't know what happened was. Just being in the right place at the right time, because now you've got your name out there, you know what you do, people know what you do. So I did the workshops for this business workshop for this fashion event that was all day long. So I hooked all the speakers up, and I did like a little modeling university. And we had fashion industry, we hooked it up, fashion industry, we hooked it up, and I did the Know Your Worth. And then I had some somebody else do marketing, and I had somebody else do a makeup seminar, and I'm good. I did my part. I did my first half of the day. So I didn't know that I could MC until the MC didn't show up for the fashion show.
Maybe
Oh my
you'll
God.
find out about yourself.
You'll find out what you can do when the demand is there. And now, what happened was I ended up doing the fashion thing and ended up being an MC. And now I get more invitations, paid invitations to be an MC than I had to first get speaking. My desire is that people hear this, that you hear right now. But until I get there, I gotta learn how to use every gift that I have to open the door for me. So now I can network and say, now I'm an MC. So now people say, well, you MC my event for me. Which opened up to me open up the platform for me to help young people pour into them to be able to use their gift in the arts. So I ended up doing the open mic night. You see how my history, you've been here doing all this time. It's starting to all come together. So now we're in the city of Hampton, and we got like 8 of us in a circle doing poetry, rapping their songs, and we're now empowering young people in the community to do what we're doing, okay? Never knowing that what I was doing was making more connections. I was building trust in my community. Now people know who CHAMPIAM is without me blowing the horn and saying, you need to know who CHAMPIAM is. Now people in the community now know, in our local community, know who CHAMPIAM was. Not to even know. Then now we start to get attention from the local politics that are there. Why? Because now we turn 7 kids into 30 to 50 youth coming out, millennials that are coming out, and they're using the gift. And guess who was the guy who was emceeing the whole entire thing? Me. Until I could raise up a young person to MC it. Now I raise up young speakers and young singers to go and MC. And now they got singers who were not even trying to sing. They had a dream in their head. I was now showing them how to sing, how to do that, because my church, I'm the praise and worship leader. All that stuff works together. And now I'm teaching them how to project and do that thing. Now I've built another natural resource to the point now the mayor, we go to see the mayor, and I walk in the mayor's office, show him my card. He looks at my card, looks at me, looks at my card, and he said, you spoke at the Lyanna graduation.
See? So beautiful.
That was 3 years later.
That's a churchman right there.
See? And all that happened from what? Natural relation.
Natural relation.
So are y'all learning something?
So now I need to add something else to
Please.
that. Using your gifts. Using your gifts. Because you never know how just your skill and just skill that you don't think are useful in the moment becomes so useful in creating a relationship and maintaining a relationship and just opening another door. So just your passion for speaking turned into now emceeing. It turned into just, I'm good at what I do, so now I'm using this gift. Your praise and worship also helps you create relationships because of the way you are with people. So it's just using your gifts as well.
So that's what you say, like, what am I want you to take a moment right now, just think about what are your gifts. Because how can I tie that to networking? Because you need to find out how your gifts solves a problem. Okay? Your gifts are designed to solve a problem. Okay? The thing that burdens you the most, the thing that hits your heart the most, the thing that that makes you cry when you look at it and you see it happening, those are the things that you may be designed to fix. Okay? What skills do you have that can transfer into a situation? So now I want you to take your index card out. Okay? That's our little. We put the first part of your index card so you can catch up with. Share your name and your business, your why. And if your business is not what you really want to be, put your real why down. Okay? So, you say, my name is Chris Hampton, I'm CHAMPIAM. Now, I want you to, in one line, say what you're supposed to do, what you do. So what is your why? What do you do? How do you do it? I'm CHAMPIAM. I aspire, you can use that word, I aspire to motivate people to find their worth, to find their passion, and to pursue it. Does that make an example of what I'm trying to say? So what's your why? If you're thinking in business terms, okay, I will make this not emotional, I'll make it business. If you're thinking in business terms, say, my name is such and my company is such and such, and this is what we do. Okay? So you have to, yes. You, go ahead. Were you gonna say that?
I finish your thought, and then
I don't know where I'm going, so you go ahead.
Okay, so I actually, on my way over here, just earlier today, I just came up with something, and, so I don't know if this is where we're going, but let me, so this is what I put down. First of all, my organization is the Marriage Service Technicians.
Okay.
Okay, so our tagline, my husband and I, we do it why? Because we have a passion for marriages,
Okay.
birthed out of the pain that we went through when we didn't have information. So now we have.
That's your one line.
Right.
So
So
that's
I'm gonna say that one?
Well,
Okay, so wait, that's what I'm saying, I'm trying to figure out which one, so that's why I really do.
That's your
what I
why.
do. But that's not, okay, so
But-
that's it.
So, no, because
So-
the next thing I want to show you is going to connect to
But
that.
keep going.
Alright, well, let me read you this one and see if this is where we're going, or if I just need to.
Because I don't want you
No?
to yet. Because I want you to,
Okay.
I want you to see.
All right.
Because by the time we get this done, it's gonna flow.
Okay.
But that first thing that you just said so easily, if you got my attention right now. See, my name is what you said, the marriage what?
Service technicians.
Marriage service technician. And you know what? It was birthed out of not having enough information when we needed in our relationship. So what we want to do is provide relationship. Now I just went to my next step. So he said it was birthed out of my why. You only got 30 seconds. And the reason why if I let you talk, you would have been over a minute.
Yeah.
That's true.
If I would let you talk, you would have been over a minute.
Mm-hmm.
So the surprise that I'm going to do for you, because I already did it, was by the time we get finished that index card, you're going to have your 30-second statement. It's that easy. You're halfway through it. You're almost there. Okay? And what you're doing is you're being able to explain your why. Because people don't know how to connect to you until you can explain your why. And sometimes you got to fumble through it until you find a rhythm that works for you.
Yeah.
You've heard me do a CHAMPIAM, 3 CHAMPIAM introductions until I feel it changes every time I talk about it.
Yeah.
Because I really do change towards the crowd. Because I'm talking to business crowds, and when I'm talking to church crowd, it's a total different language.
Yeah.
When I'm talking to kids, it's a total different language.
Yeah.
So CHAMPIAM is multifaceted. So I have to learn how to change mine, whatever. But you got to be able to flip it. So if I'm talking to you and you look like you're in the business, I got to be able to switch my language to her language. When I'm talking to the owner of a school, I need to be able to speak to the principal in that language. And then when I talk to the kids, I got to be able to still come down and talk at their language. So you got to be flexible. But you have to practice on your why and not be so cerebral with it. Because what hits your heart is not the technical. And that's what happens. We think about it and say, then we start reading our pedigree. We start talking about, I didn't tell you I told you about my passion, I didn't tell you my pedigree.
Yeah.
My pedigree is I'm a high school dropout, if you really look at it. That's my testimony. I'm a high school dropout, I went to the Army, got my stuff in the Army, had nothing to do with what I was in the Army, had nothing to do with what I'm doing now, but those were my building phases. And own your whys, own your builders. Stop comparing yourself to the person that's polished next to you, because the person that's polished next to you might not have it all anyway, and they have a pedigree. Because it's not about the doors that open. It's not about what you know. A lot of times it's about who you know. Yes.
And when you try to be like everybody else, you lose your why, and then you lose yourself.
And you lose yourself. That's awesome, Queen. Queen's good. Give Queen a hand.
Okay, Queen.
That's the most I've heard Queen talk in my life.
I know she usually sit back
See, I know her name, but she says she has everybody. I forgot her name because now Queen takes over because she told me that she makes everybody call her Queen. And what did I just do? I just adapted to what she told me that she wanted to be called. So now she's Queen. I forget her name, but she says I'm Queen. and she will always now be queen, because now she put it in my head. And you see how fast that branded into me?
Yeah.
Who am I now? I tell you, CHAMPIAM. Now you see me, you say, hey, you probably forgot my first name already. By the time I got finished talking about that while you're in graduation, they were like, what's that? CHAMPIAM. And I was like, what happened? Did you misspell champion? No. I have shirts that say CHAMPIAM walking out the street. Can you spell? No. Because everything that I am supposed to be is already on the inside of me. I'm CHAMPIAM. That's my brand. So what I just do, I just branded my network. I'm networking and I'm branding, and I did not throw anything in your face. And that's what we want to do. We want to focus on doing this naturally. Okay? I kind of just did. I'm not getting the questions and the anxiety. You feel any more anxiety anymore? Hey, I did my job.
Gave you better definition.
We did with the better questions now. We're doing better with the questions, so we knocked that out too. Good. Is there any mystery now? Because now we know what to do. I'm working it. I'm doing good at 3 or 4. Okay.
And it flowed like the water in the river.
See, that's how it is, and hopefully you'll remember. So I do want to let you know that networking is more than just for your sales job.
Yeah.
For you selling your business, but it's for job interviews. You can network for a job interview. I heard, I listened to a Sirius XM station called Historical Black Colleges. And every now and then they have these business classes on. And she was talking about, there's 2 types of words. You can go to their networking class. I mean, their networking event, because they're trying to teach college students how to network. But what jumped out to me was this. She said, we require people to come dressed up and all that stuff, and the recruiters know that they need to be dressed a certain way. Mm-hmm. But there was a young man that had an IT background, and the recruiter was in the cafeteria, and her computer just had a mind of its own. Okay, she couldn't get it right. She couldn't get it fixed. She couldn't do anything. The guy with the IT background, jeans and a t-shirt, came up to her and was like, hey, you need help? She said, I can't get this to work. He said, got her computer back. She bypassed everybody that was at the networking event. And she said, she went back to the dean that was in charge of the recruit. She said, I know he's not dressed, but we want him. What did he do? Didn't realize it. He got the job that he is still at right now in a corporate America high IT position. And all he did was he let his gift make the connection. Y'all teach this class for me, I'll make it this easy. He built the trust because what? He fixed the computer and he made a relationship in the midst of it. And he created a relationship which left a mark that said, out of all those well-dressed people, I want the one that was in the t-shirt and the jeans that fixed my problem. So, learning to network without networking. That's what we're learning today.
Say it again.
We're learning to, what I just said, Ryan?
Say it, sir. I'm learning to
Learning to network without networking.
That's Miss Tracy right there.
What you just learned how to do was networking without necessarily saying network.
There's no pretense.
I want you to be natural. Be the purity of your gift. Okay? Be natural with the passion that you have. There is no way in the world that I'm going to get I say yes out my head. Because the very first person, if you know Crystal, Lewis, I mean, I walked up the steps and all I heard was, I say yes, and a smile and finally. She had her brand, her daughter, and she's a hairstylist. That's the least I can call her, is a hairstylist, because she does so much. But she put a brand on me so much. And it was so funny because we were talking about the introduction that I ended up helping someone else, and she was the Deborah Blackston, the body massage therapist, who was also so crazy. She was a sexual therapist.
Right.
Oh my God. Really?
And she's not like one of the sexual therapists, but she wanted people to be open with their sexuality and women and teaching women to embrace their sexuality, embrace their figure, embrace the one. And I know, so I come up there and I said, so I say yes, it's just blooming. And then I see Deborah, she's all quiet and reserved. So when she gives me her card, I look at it and I see that, when she does the exercise and she's a twerkologist or something like that. But then I said, sexual therapy. I said, what's that?
Yeah.
So now the guy's got her eye, the guy's got his ear open. He said, sex, now the ear's open. So he was like, okay. I said, so what is it? And then she was like really quiet and demure about it, and she was like real laid back, and Deborah, she's like very laid back, and she's like, so can a man join this class? And she said, no. How come? All right? Because I was trying to get her to, in our natural conversation, to talk about what she went. I didn't realize that. I was just being really a pain in the butt, because that's what I do sometimes. So I realized I put her on the spot. So right now, we're up there next to I Say Yes, and then we have other women walking up from the fashion event, same fashion event, I Say Yes. And she starts talking about the benefits of what you're doing. So she said, yeah, we were trying to get women to do this and that. And I said, hey, men can't join. No, we need to learn the female perspective so we can stop being jerks. And she's like, no, it's really for, she's like, no, it's really for, so I was really cracking and having fun. And then what happened was some ladies came up the steps. And I said, you need to talk to Deborah. She is the body sexologist. And she's like, what? And then I said, I ended up giving her a customer. Sharing and getting outside. So sometimes you're going to have to get outside of your comfort zone and be able to share what you do. And I really want to talk about this because I think this is important. Because I really, about a half hour ago, was trying to talk about why we don't do anything. And the reason why we don't get out of our comfort zone, and it's important because to network, it requires you to be uncomfortable. And I was saying that to the point because we got off of this good tangent about relationships, because relationships require you to be open. So a lot of times we don't stretch out of our comfort zone is because of 3 F's. And I don't care what people talk about fear, because we always hear fear and we hear that little false evidence that appears real. And everybody says, false evidence that appears real. And you know what? I was afraid of roller coasters. I'm not afraid of roller coasters anymore. I respect roller coasters. Okay? Because the evidence is real. That evidence is, that thing is going miles, 100 miles an hour, and I just realized that I don't like not being able to breathe for 60 seconds. Now, I've experienced it, I've overcome it. But fear is real. Okay? Fear is not necessarily bad. Okay? I know I just contradicted a whole bunch of other people, but I'm not the other people, I'm Tim I am. Okay? So,
For yourself.
fear is a defense mechanism. Okay? Fear is supposed to make you second think. The problem when fear becomes a problem to you is when you allow fear to ride. When you allow fear to drive. Fear is okay to say, okay, that hill is high. But fear is also to say, hey, don't jump off that plane without a parachute. Why? Because I'm afraid to go flat. I fear. I reverence that. That's a reverence part. But when it becomes a fear that confines, it becomes a fear that constricts, it becomes fear that becomes a prison, that's when you have allowed fear too much room. You gave fear a driver's license. You can always be a passenger, but you can't drive. Because if you're a passenger, you do what I say do. Okay? So there's 3 fears that we allow to stop us from even getting into the situations that we need to. We have fear of rejection. Okay? This is a big thing for me. I may look like I'm super confident right now because I'm flowing in my gift right now. Okay? But I am the shyest person when it comes to dealing with people. I'm in a position right now where you have to take me as I am. You know, hey, there's like a wall here. But if I had to get close to Jamila like this, I would shrinkle. Because I'm uncomfortable like that. Okay? And why? It's because I was dealing with a lot in my life with dealing with the fear of rejection. There were things that I never knew. I found out like an old high school girlfriend that I could have had. say, "Oh, I liked you back in the day, just never knew." But I never came out my share. Why? Because of fear of rejection. And that's a real fear. We're afraid that if we go and share our heart about our business, that they're going to say, "What's that?" Mm-hmm. I've had people say, "Who are you?" I've had people tell me, "What qualifies you to speak about anything right now?" And some people don't respect you until someone outside their circle respects you. Because it's like, what requires you, what makes you think that you have the thing to come up and talk in front of a college student? And it was a college professor that brought me before the college students that I was a high school dropout, got my GED, and now I'm talking to students in transition at college. Sutton. You know what she's talking about. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, God bless. I was just calling her the other day. But she worked for Camden County College. And now I'm finding out, Chris, you do soft skills so well. Now they're trying to bring you in for soft skills training. I didn't know what that was called. I didn't know it was called soft skills. I was just talking about sales and how to close and how to show yourself. It's like, oh, that's soft skills. But someone recognizes it and someone doesn't.
Yeah.
And because someone didn't recognize the gift and say, "Well, who are you?" Because I'm not on the platform that I say I am, I will never, ever get where I need to get. Because I'm thinking I could reject my own life because I think my life has to be perfect before I step out. I think my marriage has to be perfect before I step out and actually talk about it. And I'll give you the real thing about that and just talk about, I was separated from my wife for 8 years. 8 years. And in that 8-year time, I'm helping other marriages get back on. Just talking about most things. I was helping other men restore their marriage faster than mine was being restored. But if I looked at the rejection, because I reject the carrier that was carrying the message, I would never help them people out. Would never open doors for me to go in other places because I was afraid to embrace my wife. So you can't reject yourself, and you can't allow other people to reject you. And sometimes we take the rejection too personal because we feel that the rejecting of your product is a rejection of you. That's not true. I had to learn that it's not like. So what? If I talk to the girl and she rejects me, she's not the one for me. If I talk to that business owner and they don't see the value in the gift, I stop trying to be the square trying to fit into the circle. Because when you realize that you are not there to sell everybody, the light goes on. Right? You realize that you're called to do a specific thing for a specific type of person. You've narrowed your market down. Am I doing it right? I'm learning my day. You've narrowed you defined your market. See, I'm walking. You narrowed your market down. You realize that you can't fit in everybody's thing. I said, you take me out sometimes. So you realize you're not there for everybody.
You can't please everyone.
You can't please everybody. So that's the fear of rejection. When you understand that, then you realize that no longer has a grip on you. You don't feed that power. So everybody that's spoken against your vision, everybody that doesn't legitimize your vision, I had people tell me, it made you almost doubt yourself. That you've heard what you're supposed to do. And that you see it so clearly. But whose eyes are looking at your path? Them? When I mean whose view? You can't look. I can't.
Whose view is looking at your path?
Well, whose view is looking? Whose point of view are you looking for?
Whose point of view?
I was stuttering real quick. I stutter sometimes when I try to get in there. Whose point of view are you looking for? The vision for your business is given to who? You. Not through someone else. And until you learn how to speak your vision clearly so that people can jump on and join it, you're going to work through it. You're going to have some people that are just not going to see it. Because not everybody's help is meant to help you. Okay? So if you realize that, then you stop trying to win everybody to your cause. Okay? Take a quick second on your cue card. We said your name. We said your why. Now, just in one line, say how you do what you do. How do you fix them? How will you help me? You told me your name. You told me your why. Don't give me a paragraph. Give me one line. Give me one line. And tell me how you do what you do. Is this good? Am I there? Am I there? So now we start taking the fear of rejection, we take the power out of the fear of rejection. The next fear is the fear of failure. I'm going to pause on that and let you continue writing real quick. But you got it? It's one line, not a paragraph, one line. I got it? I'm really curious to see what y'all got on your cards.
I'm trying to put it in one line.
You almost told me what you did in the end of your sentence, what you said.
Yeah, I know, but
so,
you telling me to put, I'm trying to condense it.
No, what you just said in that one line that you just told me about, you're a marriage technician, and you were birthed out of what you went through.
The struggles that we experienced before we had knowledge.
Now, how we help couples.
I know, but I'm saying, but I'm trying to narrow, I'm trying to bring it to one sentence.
So we help couples.
So we help.
So I'll start to say so. We help couples by bop, bop, bop. I think 3 points, 3 quick points.
I understand.
Think about it.
I ain't quick point by a person, so I gotta think to go.
Okay.
See, you gotta think to expand, I gotta think to narrow, so I'm
right.
trying to
So
narrow.
you got wide view, and we try to get you to do this.
Yeah,
and the only reason why I'm saying that is because I may be a marriage platform. So I'm saying you got to be able to say what you're saying and impact me in such a way that I go, and go back again. So I'm not putting pressure. I'm not putting it like that. I'm just putting it in. So I'm curious to see what's on all your cards. So the fear of failure. That's my other one. I feel very attached to all three of these in my life because it's taken me up to 43 years just to learn how to shake it off.
Isn't that the truth? When you can embrace, I just have to jump
Go
in.
ahead.
My spirit's full right now. It's so full, it's overflowing. You are God's messenger to me tonight, I'm sure to other ladies, but it's really impacting me because I've been working up to this moment, looking for the answers. I called it trying to put a puzzle together without seeing the framework. I've been trying to turn over pieces, and a person who also is searching said to me, I said, I don't know what to do. I don't have the cover to look at my puzzle to put it together, but I feel like I'm putting pieces here. He said, start with what you know, what you do know about yourself. And I said, well, I'm passionate about X, Y, Z, X, Y, Z, X, Y, Z. And I just keep moving without an itinerary, without a plot plan, and the Lord, and the more that I surrender to Him, the more He's shown me this is how it works. And I just went through something 2 or 3 weeks ago. The opportunity that knocked, and I just said yes to it, and I kept going, and it lasted 3 weeks. This opportunity that I saw myself doing something like what happened to you, and I knew it was the hand of God. And I just knew everything you were saying was in the flow of the Spirit. That's how it works. Once you give up this man-made control, this is how it works, here's the formula, dress in the suit, that whole success thing that I can't stand, I told my friend here, Betty, for 7 years.
Because it's wrapped in you. You're
Network,
wrapped the way you are.
network it turns me off the whole word. I said, I want to build relationships, that's what I tell her. But where are the people? I said, where are the people to build the relationship?
But you see, that's the thing.
But now I'm just running in the flow of it.
Right, and that's what it is. It's a
So
natural,
it's
it's a natural, I hate to sound like Musa, and I did not, I hope I don't sound like I'm preaching, but this is who I am, okay? So, I didn't mean it, but, I didn't mean it, but it comes out every now and then. But the mission is being able to be.
Yeah,
And instead of turning networking into something that I do, it's something that I am. And it's an extension of who you are. And that's how easy I look at networking when I look at it like that. And when I realized that I think that the first fear is the fear that I just took the steam of people accepting me. I don't care who accepts me now because I've been accepted in groups now that I never thought that I would walk in. And that's the other thing, that when you lose the fear of rejection, barriers come down on where you perceive that you can go. I never thought that I would do a movie. Now I got independent movie credits. I didn't ask for that. I didn't even know I had them until I saw my name pop up on the IMDb. Big Chris the Preacher. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I didn't know I would go into the modeling. I didn't know I would be someone called me, he said, Chris Collins, he said, Chris, how do you explain CHAMPIAM? They were talking about it. Somebody said, well, I'm talking to Chris about CHAMPIAM. He said, in conversation, he said, Chris is a tweener. I was like, what's that? He said, because I'm dealing with millennials with the spoken word group. He's like, Chris is like a tweener. He learns, he kind of sits in the corner pocket, and he can talk to the tweens, but then he can also talk to the other generation right above him, and he kind of sits like this. I said, that's one of the best compliments that I could have as a speaker, to be able to say that I'm able to cross generations without changing who I am. Because I'm still in essence, the old little church boy. But I still am, I'm in R&B, I'm in a rap environment, I'm in social different viewpoints that are not necessarily lining up, but they still listen to me as if I'm a sage advice to them, and allowing me the honor to speak into them. And I get to speak into a generation who's closed off because people are telling them what to be, and I'm just showing them. So I never thought that I would do that. And I learned to just be me. I found out that there's nothing that I can't do. And where I thought that I was just meant to deal with a church population, I find myself outside of the church population. I find myself growing outside of my walls. And now I'm jumping into other people's backyard, and I look like a superstar when I jump in their backyard. Where if I was to go to my little church, I'd probably, you've been to my church, you go to my little church, I kind of fit in. I'm like, hey, that's Brother Chris. When I walk in like, hey, that's CHAMPIAM. Right? Now they're starting to finally see it as a result of you receiving it and accepting me. And some people will only accept you as other people start to accept you.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's not them. It's because they were familiar with you and they knew you went. So sometimes you have to prove yourself being consistent. Okay? Fear of failure. Fear of failure means we have taken the identity of failure. Failure, say it like this, I am not a failure. Say that with me again, I am not a failure. Say it again, I am not a failure. Failure means that there is a problem in the process, not a problem in you. So if it's a problem in the process, I can fix the process. If 1 + 1 = 2, but I keep putting 1 + 3, I know 1 + 3 = 4. But I'm trying to get to 2, right? So 1 + 1, I just changed that one number, and I'm no longer a failure in math, right? Same thing. But the problem is we look at ourselves because we keep falling short of our business goals, of our life goals, of our passion goals, and we find out that we look at ourselves as the failure, and we say, I'm a failure. My life is not where it needs it. My marriage is nowhere near me. I failed. I utterly failed on that one. I am a failure. And you look at it now, now you're going through life failure and rejected. Because now you put onto something that you're not. Your name, what you call yourself, is what your clothing is. People see you coming. People see your business and how you look at your business, on how you present yourself. So that's your clothing. And now you're looking at it and saying, this doesn't look like CHAMPIAM. My name is CHAMPIAM. I can't even fake it anymore because I'm so used to being CHAMPIAM. I can't even look. I can't do it. I can't do it. I ain't gonna act it. But that's what we do. And how many of us have looked at ourselves and said, the reason why I'm not going to start my business tomorrow, the reason why I'm not going to go to this event, the reason why there's some of us that meant to be here were just like you, looking at it, they thought that they knew what the guy was going to talk about. And did I come as a traditional teacher? Did I come anywhere near looking like Do it, Ben. We are rejected. No, we didn't do that.
I
Okay.
don't wanna do that.
But there are some people in here that thought and looked and said, I can't see myself in that. Okay? You are not a failure. Your business is not a failure. Your business may have failed. That's a possibility. I see somebody make some expensive mistakes. Put their whole finances out there, and if they went to a lighting class, they would have realized that you need a budget and you need to work that thing. Right? You ain't losing thousands of dollars, and now you're like you won't need the marriage technician because your marriage is messed up because you put the cart before the horse. Right? And you put unnecessary strain on that because you didn't have no knowledge and you failed that. You failed that, but you're not a failure. Okay? So you can't allow that fear to do it.
I always say failure is nothing but feedback.
Mm-hmm.
It's my feedback.
And that's how you have to look at it.
It's my feedback.
So there's nobody in here calling you yourself. I'm not going to let you call you a failure. Because that's a problem. Yes.
So the significant factor here is like when you have an idea for a business and you're going to build a business, you find your uniqueness and you sell that. Like you don't try to copy the person next door, you build on your uniqueness and sell that to survive.
You title of it. Thank you, Queen. Thank you, Queen. I like your title all together. And she's making sure I stick with the business part too. You gotta put it, good. There you go. I feel you.
I'm putting CHAMPIAM in there.
There you go. See? She knows who I am. But that's the thing. If you don't do that, you're going to fail to find your uniqueness because you've now identified yourself as something else. That third failure is the one I'm overcoming, and I've overcome it, and I'm working to make sure I don't go back. It's the fear of success. Nobody talks about the fear of success. You get all that other fear. You know what happens? I sit there and say, I've talked myself into I talked myself into this class, right? I've been saying, I want to do something for the longest time.
Right.
I talked myself in here, and now I'm in here. I had no clue how this was going to go tonight. I was like, Lord, I have to talk myself in here. I talked myself in here. Now I'm up front, and I'm like, I want to make, I sure enough hope that this is not a failure in the process. But I was there. I talked myself here, and now I'm here. And I was like, wow, what happened? And you know what I hate? I'm afraid of the Facebook Live. Like, I'm like, oh, don't go live, don't go live, because this is the time that Facebook Live gets jacked up, and I do something, and it's going to be on social media forever. I was just saying, but I'm saying that the fear of success, we don't talk about what happens if I succeed. And what happens, I'm looking at, oh my God, you hear me talking all this big wolf tickets, like, I'm internationally known. I'm going to be the one that's going to bust the platform when it gets there. I'm going to be that guy. Les Brown? Okay, that's the last generation. Now. You know? What happens when I become successful? And sometimes you get that fear of moving forward, that because, oh my God, they know my name now. I'm surprised. Like, I was surprised when I walked in the mayor's office and he said, he was city councilman at the time.
Yeah, I remember that.
He was city councilman at the time. And he said, I remember, and he actually said, oh, I remember what you said. You talked about networking up and networking back, and you said that really was important. He was like, wow. And you know what? When I spoke at the YA graduation, it was less than 5 minutes. But less than 5 minutes, and he remembered that 3 years later.
That's a bad one.
Just, And I wasn't asking. That's like, again, all these things I walked into naturally. But I had to walk through the door. I had to release my fear. I had to embrace who I was. And I had to embrace the truth of what I would need to do. Okay? So I had to stop questioning myself. I had to get rid of my anxiety. And no longer there's a mystery of who I am and what I do. And because I have the knowledge of who I am, there's no more frustration. Because you said something very important. Because the key to overcoming all three of your fears is knowledge. The more you know, the less you fear. Say it with me. The more I know, the less I fear. The more I know, the less I fear. When I'm afraid of something, maybe I need to learn more about what I'm afraid of. That's why you need to go, if you don't have a business and you don't know anything, you're afraid to get into business. I've been putting drops in LAIDA forever now. This is my 5th one right now. But you know what? You need to get into the LAIDA class. Why? Because the more you know, the less you're afraid. And not everything's, some days, I have a friend who does business, and his business model is that he's the jumper. He's the jumper. And I appreciate the jumper because I jumped with him on a few occasions.
Right.
And I would not have been where I'm at today if I did not jump, but he jumps for everything. And I'm like, man, life is like, everything is just jump in. I'm like, I gotta plan sometime. And that's why I learned the other half of that, because some people that are constantly jumping are still constantly jumping into the same situation over and over and over again. And when you find yourself jumping in the situation over and over and over again, and you land in the same spot, you become a master jumper. You need to get a different location, a different point of view, and a different navigator to take you to a different spot so you can fall into a different place. Okay? I don't know where that came from. That was good. All right. So the last thing I said to you about your card. So I am going to give you a business knowledge. Now, I said a lot of emotional things. I said a lot of, I think I did say, I'm balancing it. Okay? So you do need to have some skills to be a networker. Okay? And we're going to end with this. Because I still have a lot more. I didn't get off there. But I think we covered it. Okay? So you need to be a successful networker. You need to have confidence. You still need to work on your confidence. Right. And the best way to work on your confidence is to do. Right. Find friendly environments. This is a great place to network. We networked tonight and really didn't realize that we were networking tonight. You were at a class and we networked. When you realize that it's not something that you do, that you're something that you are, you find out that you have more opportunities to do it. True. Okay? So when I wanted to learn how to speak, I thought I was a great speaker. I thought it was good. So you need to teach me nothing. I'm good. I teach in church. Good. And then I joined Toastmasters. And funny thing about Toastmasters is not everybody knows my lingo. So I was in a majority white Toastmasters group. I loved the Voorhees group. That's where I was raised up. I loved them people. And what happened was they were a different culture. So certain things that I would say in my presentation didn't cross over. And it wasn't all church language. It's some of us in our Ebonic little sub-language that we think everybody knows. They're like, what do you mean by that? Which allowed me to stretch myself, to be able to redefine myself and to make myself be able to talk to different levels. Okay? But that was a networking opportunity because what I did was I introduced myself as, my name is Chris Hampton, I'm CHAMPIAM, and I'm aspiring to be a motivational speaker. And then what happened as I kept on talking, and I said, every time I would do my Toastmaster speech, every week we had one. So every week I was up there doing a different Toastmaster thing. I went through all the modules like so quick that they gave me the Speedy Gonzalez Award. Because I was serious about it. And I didn't realize how many times I said ums and ahs and all that stuff. And when you really listen to yourself, and I'm like, when I listen, I did it again. See, when I listen to my recording, I'm gonna count and say, did I say that sounds illiterate. So I put myself in another environment, which allowed me to learn another language, and networking will do that. Networking will do that for you, okay? And then what happens with networking is they will believe you before you believe it. Because I went from saying I'm Chris Hampton, I'm aspiring to be a motivational speaker, to my name is Chris Hampton, I'm CHAMPIAM, I'm a motivational speaker. Now learn how to slow that down. My name is Chris Hampton, I'm CHAMPIAM, and I am a motivational speaker. And to the point that 6 months later, I ended up competing for South Jersey, I went in there for the humor speaker. I didn't realize I was funny until I started talking and people started laughing at me. I'm wondering, why are you laughing at me? I'm telling you a serious point. And I'm like, why are you laughing at me? So I ended up going and doing that one, and I was doing the humor speech. And I came in second place for all of South Jersey, which required me to go to the one in Pennsylvania. But at the same time, I ended up doing another contest called the Impromptu Speak, where they give you a minute and they just throw anything at you, and you guys talk on your feet for a minute and not say, and sound like you know what you're talking about. So I'm a good bluffer. I didn't realize I was a good buffer until I ended up winning all of the rounds. And I was first place in New Jersey, and I ended up being third place in Pennsylvania.
That's saying something.
And I didn't realize it. For Toastmasters, they get on you. They're very strict
Yeah.
about
Yeah,
everything.
that's what I like about
I mean,
it.
I'm sitting here talking with my hand in my pocket, and I'm just sitting there like, they hate that. You know, I do it sometimes on purpose, just like, you gotta accept me for who I am. But, I mean, but I learned to learn. I learned another language. That's what networking did for me, okay? You have to have confidence. You have to have the proper perspective about your business, what you're there to do. And you have to have a clear vision, okay? Do not come to a networking event and name all your jobs. Pick one, represent one. Pick the one that you really want, the one that you're passionate about, the one that you really want to gain ground on, and start building the ground and building the network so that people can know who you are. Because a part of networking is, again, letting people know. I'm still saying, yes, it's relational. Yes, it was that, but I'm not saying that it's primarily getting people to know who you are. But in the end, you still want people to get to know who you are. Okay? So you can't hide in the midst of the relationship and still forget to tell them who you are. It's just that I want this to be a relationship that we can work together on. Okay? Which leads me to, you have to have your elevator pitch. Right. Now pull up your card. Queenie, since you've been the quietest in the back here, could you read me your could you read out loud what your 30-second elevator pitch says?
I'm hope for life always. I'm inspired to help others achieve their full potential, even when all doors seem to be closed, by helping them through knowledge, resources, and relationships.
Perfect. Nice, succinct, and that's less than 30 seconds. And I'm like, now she'll be able to say it to me when she'll practice that, and she'll be able to say it to me looking at me eye to eye, and with a smile on her face. Miss White.
I'm not there yet.
What do you got so far?
Okay, I am Tracy Nicole. I aspire to show others the master designer's plan called Living by Design, the beauty in brokenness.
And, okay, so the beauty of brokenness. And, okay, so your last line that's missing is, in one line, how do you help people who are broken? So I help people who are broken from life situations through group meetings, through one-on-one consultations, so you work on your house. Just think about it. You don't have to say it now, but that's your last line. And you're good. So you said, now you're telling me your how, okay? So you said, my name is this is what I do, and this is how we do it. So when I say I'm Chris Hampton, I motivate young people to find their business idea and find their why and make money while they're young. I do this through classes, seminars, and I go into classes and show them how to make their own business. And I'll do it like that. I'll say it like that, okay? Because I have a thing where I say, why not me? When I show little kids that, hey, there's this kid named Evan who's my role model, who does Evan too, and he has a YouTube page, and he has over a couple million followers, and he's getting $1 million check because YouTube monetizes. My nieces have their own YouTube channel. They're twins, okay, identical looking twins, and they got their own YouTube channel, and they were making $900 to getting a check, $900. These are under 13, okay? $900 YouTube per month.
Per month? Okay.
Getting a marketing check. They just hit 1 million views on one of their sites. Okay? They did it, they found their little niche, they work it, and they do a little twin thing. They were doing practical jokes and pranks on each other. They were doing little fashion tips with each other. And now they got a little following. Now they're walking through the neighborhood and they're like, hey, it's the Johnston twins. Okay? Betty.
Alright, so my name is Betty Talent. I led Mrs. Waiting Wellness Warriors. I'm why. So what I do is empowering others to pursue their goals by lifting others who are brokenhearted emotionally. And I help others achieve a goal by using the aroma freedom technique using essential oils to identify, process, and release their inner struggle.
Awesome. she's the massage therapist that put the massage in there in a holistic way that you don't realize is a massage until it's the end. But that's awesome how you did that, okay? And it's more than massage. You just turned it into a whole wellness point of view, right?
But it's not
It's
massage. It's not massage, though.
It's a touch, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
It's a aroma freedom.
Aroma
technique.
freedom technique, okay, so it's, yes, gotcha, holistic care, sorry. Correct me when I get your brand wrong. All right,
Betty, that was outstanding.
that was
I
outstanding.
love that.
And I want to, what you just did was awesome, because you, in this example, you said, again, you stuck to the program, and you said what you do, you showed your why, and you showed your how, okay? I say yes, if you show me, it might not be I say yes, you know, I want to hear what you got to say, I want to be familiar with your brand, and it's something totally different.
Right.
Well, but I mean, even tonight, I've even learned more. That's the beauty of, like you said, keep coming out, doing things. I'm Barbara Bryant, I'm CEO of I Say Yes Salon and Spa. My why is, blessing people with spiritual makeovers. And, why we do what we do is we're taking your beauty problems and turning it into a solution.
Awesome. See, that's succinct. What's your name again, man? Andrea?
Andrea, well, I might not be as succinct.
I'm
just telling you.
Hold on, we don't compare ourselves to
I'm
anyone
not
else in
comparing,
here.
I'm just letting you know, because I tried to bring it in.
Give me what you got.
That's what I'm trying to do, but okay.
We can only make it
I'll
better.
give you what I got. Okay. I'm Andrea Riley of the Marriage Service Technicians, where we equip relationships with tools to go the distance. My why is marriage service technicians were birthed out of our struggles that we face when we lack knowledge and understanding. Our how, we help you fine-tune your relationship skills to achieve optimal health and maximum benefits through workshops, mentoring, counseling, and coaching.
That's good.
That was it. You
Oh,
did
so no,
good.
okay.
It's not so deep, people.
It's just
not,
like
yeah,
you
go
got
ahead.
everything in there that someone would need to have.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not
That's
so
what it
deep.
is.
It is not that deep. And I guess we made it
Thank
sound,
you for your
I think we made it sound deep.
No, it's not that it sounded deep, no.
Not us, I'm just saying. as a
No,
whole.
let me just
Right.
tell you why I said what I said, because earlier when I was asking, okay, can I give you what I was working on when I came here from earlier today, and you said no, because you're gonna go over a minute. So then I've been thinking the whole time, okay, let me just keep bringing it in, because I gotta take all this in less than a minute. So the whole time I'm sitting here trying to
But you made it
narrow it
concise.
down.
but-
Okay, so
right.
I'm saying
That's good.
that's why I'm saying it. It wasn't because I'm comparing with anybody.
Mhm.
I'm only going by your comment,
Right.
and I understand that's what the objective of tonight was.
That's fine. And that's what I wanted to say was watch the negative statement that was saying that, well, I might not be. Because again, that's when we start to make the language of, I'm not, you don't realize that you're comparing yourself. I might not be, when you say I might not be what? Who do you have to compare yourself to? But I understand what you're saying.
What you said, the
Right.
assignment was.
No, but
I'm
you
trying
were
to
there.
get the assignment.
Gotcha.
Not really, because I don't really have a comparison mindset, she'll tell you. I don't really feel like, oh, I'm just, no.
Okay.
But just because you said that's what the assignment
Yeah,
was.
that's fine. You did the assignment. That's
All
exactly what the assignment was. Because again, what you don't want to do is you want to also, the other part of us doing our 30 seconds is to give the other person the opportunity to tell them, and not just to give the other person the opportunity to tell them about themselves. And sometimes we can manipulate the whole conversation, but we turn it to all about us. It's very easy to do that. I mean, I feel like there's so much we could cover and we didn't cover, but it was like, it's not about you. It's not just about you. Because the conversation, again, out of networking was the other portion of it is learning what that other person can be about you. And sometimes we'll listen to other people and we won't really listen to them. So when we're having this conversation and we're in a networking situation, it's not like us where we're trying to make sure that we're hearing each other correctly, but sometimes we're listening and we're listening to the other person wondering what we're going to say.
And we can jump in.
And we can jump back in. I jumped in, we're doing double dutch and we don't need to. The issue again is true relationship conversation is, I'm very interested in what you do. And I might not be into aromatherapy, okay? I got a sensitive nose, I don't like that type of thing, right? But I listen to you And there's somebody that sits there that might like that ambiance and may want some things that I can connect you with. So the part of networking is also becoming the net. And a net is a series of connections that are connecting each other together so that you have a common goal of bringing in something together. So how can we become the net together? How can you refer CHAMPIAM? How can I get ICS always refers me. I got to refer, that's one of my biggest friends right there, right? But we met each other and we refer each other. Brought my mama to her. I don't bring my mama to anybody. My mama is been to that hairdresser. So now we refer each other to each other because we know that we know where we fit. So we need to be able to share what we're saying, but at the same time listening and affirming the other person. And even if you don't need what they have, store it away so that you can become a connector to someone else. Okay? Store it away. Because that connection may be in a relationship that opens a door for you in the future. Not everything that you're going to do at a networking event is going to benefit you right here and now. That's the Whipham mindset, the what's in it for me mindset. We trashed that an hour ago. Okay? So we're no longer going into that mindset anymore of that. Because now I'm looking at how we can do it. And eventually, which is a total other class that I like to do later, is the value of collaboration. And that's another class for another day, because a strong network can build up to collaboration. And what collaboration means is when we get multiple people that are not necessarily doing the same thing, but have the same vision. And now we can grow. She's collaborated with me by bringing CHAMPIAM into Live. She brought me into the community. And now we're collaborating where now I can collaborate and getting customers to go to see ICS Salon, because now she's been able to uplift CHAMPIAM. We have mutual benefiting relationships. So again, now we look at networking and we no longer have this. And now we have the joy of just being a network. Be the network. All right? Thank you. Any questions?
Not a question. I just wanted to piggyback on what Tracy was saying. So, I have been to a number of networking seminars or whatever else. And even when I'm on the library list and I get all the things from the library and I looked at it, I was like, okay, well, you know. Then I only came because of Jamelia. And so anyway, and I really didn't want to come, but I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to go. Because it's always been presented a certain way. And so today, to me, I felt like you demystified it. Because I felt like, okay, now I got to go here with my polish, this, that, and other. Because I'm good at just talking to people and just, that's nothing to me. I do that all the time. But it came with this coding and rapping and all this stuff that the part I didn't like, the fluff. I didn't really like the fluff, but it was like, okay, I have to do this because I'm in the business and, you know, this is what we have to do. So I always had to pump myself up to do it. I don't have to pump myself up to go somewhere and just talk to people. But so the way, to me, I felt like the way you broke it down, it's like, oh, that's all it is. And then, so I can do, so if somebody explained it this way first, and then said, okay, and then you want it, like at the end, you put on the other stuff about, okay, yeah, you want to add your skills and you want to.
That was to please her.
But I'm just saying, so those were good points, but I'm saying if that's the emphasis, then to me, I never liked it. But now I'm like, oh, this is a, so I really appreciate, I'm glad I came. I really am, yeah, so. Thank you.
Can I give a little tidbit too? So because if you didn't ask me to do my pitch, I'm just saying.
I'm sorry, but thank you for being so prepared. Jamaica, can you give us your pitch, please? No, because I want to hear your why, because your why might not be like it away.
Yeah, in a way it is. Given it's my passion, it's what I love to do. So I'm Jamelia Powell. I didn't say a light, it's just who I am as a person. My why is I want to help people realize their dreams of entrepreneurship. I do that through building connections, creating relationships, and it's funny, and I wrote this down before you even said it, creating a network, and I connect people to other people and resources. So it's funny because as you were saying all of that, I've gone to plenty of events, and I just talk to people, and it's just who I am, and people always say, you know what, you're a connector. So when you said that, it was so funny, I'm laughing to myself because I just naturally do that. I always go with the intention. I just say what I do, but I listen to them, and I'm like, you should talk to so-and-so, you should talk to so-and-so. And they're saying, wow, you just connect people because those little things, you know, they'll call me back and say that worked for me. So I get the call back, I get the quote-unquote sale because they're appreciative of the fact that in our first encounter, I didn't do anything but say, hey, you should talk to so-and-so and someone that I know. You should meet this person, and I just put them together, and they call back and say thank you, and what can we do? So
And that's how I met the person. It's funny. Here's another quick tip. What networking event do I need to be at? The ones that you don't feel like being at.
that is so true.
And I'll be honest with you.
So true.
I'll be honest. I'll be honest. There have been events that I did not want to go to. There was one we had with Eliada, and I was supposed to be a judge, and we were doing a contest, and it was in the middle of Salem County somewhere. I was like, why do you keep bringing me out to Bordentown and Salem County and all these places? And I'm sitting there, because Bordentown, it's not Cannon County, this is the bridge, and I'm like, we're in Camden. But I was out there, and I didn't really feel like being there. I didn't feel like judging after a while. I was like, thank you for having me, but I'm like, And I get there, and then there's only one contestant showed up, but BNB Banking was there to host it. So out of that, I was able to meet with the bankers. And they were, again, there's no way I'm going to sit in the room and not talk about CHAMPIAM. So they what's CHAMPIAM? So I had to talk about CHAMPIAM. I was like, wow. And then we ended up getting some conversation. And then the banker guy says, you need to meet my friend who does this book and does all that stuff with millennials and that. Ended up referring me to that gentleman. Right. I ended up meeting with that gentleman, talking to that gentleman. Oh, you need to talk to this guy who does this video, and he gets your video straight. And ended up meeting all those. It was the event that I did not want to go to that I had the most connections that I had to go to. So sometimes we got to beat the laziness out of butt and to get here. When we have classes like this, you never know who's going to show up. And you never know what tidbit you're going to walk away even from the dry eye guy. You'll be able to walk away with something that might change your view on where you're at. So show up.
No, I was going to say, I love networking. I do it because I'm like Jamila. I like to connect people. So when I go out, a lot of times I'm not even coming about myself. Right. I'm just coming to hear what you have to say. Right. And if I'm really interested in what you have to say, I'm going to quickly make an appointment that we could do lunch so that we could really build on that connection. So a lot of times it isn't even about you having to say anything, because I'll do that little 30-second thing and then that's it. If they really want to know what I do, then they're gonna pursue me and ask me. But most of the time, I'm trying to work the whole room. What you said is so true. A lot of times, the worstest ones that you don't want to go to, I feel that's God is really talking to you. You need to be present. Because I've met so many, and I ask God every time, even when I was driving here, I always ask God to enlarge my territory. And it's not about land, it's about meeting people. So a lot of times I've come away meeting such fantastic people, and all I kept thinking to myself, see, right now, I should be home watching football. But no, I'm here. Because, like I said, football ain't paying my bills. Right. You know, but I just felt like tonight, Barbara, come out. Because it may be somebody that you have never, God is just going to put in front of you. And look what beautiful people that I met tonight.
I'm glad
I can go back home and catch the end of football.
I'll
listen to it in my car going home.
You can DVR that thing, right? I don't even know if the video's going to come out.
I'm such a big football fan. I like DVR.
You sacrificed your love for football.
I appreciate it.
But I do. I like that connection. Plus, like you said, in order for us to build our brand, and we've been in business, get ready to be 6 years next month. Wow. People need to see you. Right. Yeah. They really do need to see you, that when you do walk in that room, just like he said, I was like, oh, there go CHAMPIAM. And I always use these two too, because